I'm here with Chad SPUNJ Burchill at the Stockholm Major. 2 years gone and now we're on LAN at a major again. How's it feel?
Surreal, I think. You know, that's the cliche type answer here, but realistically, right, you've been doing studio broadcasts, the players have been playing from home for 2 years. To be able to return to this environment and just see everybody's friendly faces, I think it's great. It's like a dream coming true again, I think. You know, we're all like kids on Christmas Day.
Yeah. We're here in Sweden, obviously the capital, on some level the home country of Counter-Strike. How special is the Swedish crowd?
Yeah, I think I'm glad that they're turning out, not like we've had in past Swedish events where they go home, you know, after their team gets knocked out. The attendance yesterday was good. It's obviously going to get better today and tomorrow. So it's good to be here. This place, as far as my Counter-Strike memories go, it holds a decent place. I got some good ones, some bad ones. But I think when you think about the legacy of, you know, the Heatons, the Potties, the Spawns, all of that, and what they've contributed to Counter-Strike, I think it's fitting that we return here. Our first CSGO major was here, right, back in Jönköping 2013, and now we're back after the hiatus. It kind of is a bit poetic.
You've been around the scene for a very long time now. Some people, a lot of commentators, maybe some pundits, quote unquote, are saying online that the level of Counter-Strike has dropped due to the online era. Would you agree with that statement, or do you think it's a bit unfair to compare across eras?
It's the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite. The level of Counter-Strike has risen, right? Maybe people get a bit of lethargy in terms of the games that they've been watching, right? And they've seen the same teams playing time and time again. But the level of Counter-Strike, the way that these teams approach the game, it's never been like this before. Like, there's no comparison. Like, the level of detail that these guys have with their analysts, their coach, the amount of time that they spend playing, it's never been like this before in all my years. And I think you can see within the 2 years, it's just been a time chamber where you haven't had a choice. You sit at home and you love it and you play and you grind, and you can see what that's done for the game here. I think that the details that these kids are now, I say kids, that these players are now operating at has never been seen before.
Do you think there's like a good poster team for modern Counter-Strike? Like, is there a team that like exemplifies this like new way of playing the game that we've been seeing here too?
I think Gambit is the perfect example of doing things like the X's and the O's, which is what Australia started. It's just how much everybody's been able to refine that. So I think, like, when we say playing the percentages, right, it's about doing the lowest risk plays but still grinding out the rounds. And I think the Gambit are the best team to look at for that, even though, you know, they may be doing a lot of saving, but that's the way that Counter-Strike needs to be played if you want to give yourself as many chances to win as you can. So I think Gambit is probably the best one to look at.
We have some very tough semis today. One on one side, arguably top two teams in the world. On the other side, teams that you could easily rank at 3 or 4 or 2 or 3, anything except we're obviously Navi being the odds-on favorites for this major. How do you see these semis going? Is it really Navi's major to lose?
I think that's a fair sentiment, right? I think I've said that a couple of times in recent history. I say that, and I also feel like it's Navi's major to win, right? You know, they're obviously a little bit different of a statement, but I think for Navi, they have to pass their 2 biggest tests. Zywi with Vitality, which has proven to be a problem for them in the past, and then Gambit, who they played so many times this year, right? If they're able to get past that, then I think definitely it's their major to lose, because they've already beaten G2, right, in multiple occasions in Grand Finals, 3-0s. They've kept it very, very easy against that team. So I think if they get past Gambit today, then definitely so. But you start to go into the map pool and a couple of details and what could go wrong, and is Bit going to keep performing like this? Like that laundry list of maybes can go on forever. But I think with the Counter-Strike we've seen, definitely so. On the other side of the bracket, G2 versus Heroic, this is probably where there's a little bit more of a discussion to be had. I think G2 are the favourites, right? I think that they're the favourites in that matchup. But Heroic, I love a good romantic storyline these days, right? Like they were the good guys at the top of the world last year, winning Cologne. The next day, Hunda gets banned. Everything gets thrown into disrepute. We've had all this drama since. Now they've kind of come here. They've been able to perform on LAN, shaking off that online tag that they were growing to their name. And I think that emotion that they have from everything that happened to them in the last year is being used now as a positive to spur them forward. So I think that in this game against G2 today, they could win this game. I think I'd probably look at that one as a 55-45 with the way the map pool's going. But then if we get to the final, I think it's all Navi's.
You mentioned earlier that Heroic were perhaps viewed as a bit of an onliner team, which they've obviously now shaken off with a very good LAN performance. Do you think there are some teams that the moving to LAN has affected negatively or positively?
I think there was a lot of question marks, definitely so, about some big names. Gambit, another one that you throw in, and in the last year of Counter-Strike, they've been one of the biggest names with Heroic, right? I think that the usual suspects have struggled on LAN, back when LAN was around all the time. I think that a lot of the guys that people were asking questions of have come on through. Yukinda's a great example. I've come on through. Bit's another great example, and they're performing to a really good level, right? So I think that we've actually made the transition a bit easier than I had initially anticipated. Things are going pretty good for most of them. So I don't have any names or teams that maybe Spirit's probably one, right? That they not only do they struggle on LAN, but they also had some online woes as well. So I think Spirit is probably one that I would maybe put on that list.
If Navi take this major, does that make s1mple inarguably the GOAT, or are you of the mind that someone like maybe an old school name like Forest is still little heads above the rest?
I already have s1mple as the GOAT. I don't think anybody approaches the game in the way he does. I don't think anybody can do what he can do in the game. The next closest is Zywoo, of course, but just s1mple, what you've seen, and the attitude that he displays, the type of individual that he is, s1mple for me has been the GOAT, for a little while actually.